start from early vote. Come on up, sorry about that. Then we'll go on to the public input.
It's okay. Mr. Chair, Board of County Commissioners, my name is Robert Bada, the Undersheriff. And it is unfortunate that I have to come and stand before you here today. I feel compelled to do so in a form of a quorum. And I'm going to relate to the audit report. And my apologies in advance if I offend anyone. That is not my intention here. In all fairness to some of the commissioners, I really believe that had the commissioners in their defense had knowledge of any of these improprieties, I am confident that they would have addressed it and taken care of those improprieties. We probably wouldn't be here today. That's probably as a result of the lack of transparency from county management with the Board of County Commissioners, the complacency, and so forth. Now, I don't want to talk specifically about the audit because you have already heard about the accountability and holding elected officials or supervisors responsible. You heard about a writ that was illegally filed against the sheriff. You heard about the HR overruling a decision made by a licensed psychologist in regards to the hiring of 7 or 8 cadets, thereafter the sheriff being compelled to terminate such employees, which when I was the compliance officer, I opposed that because I knew that was illegal and that HR did not have the right to do so. I also opposed the writ because I also knew that was a malicious intent by the county attorney, county management, to remove the sheriff. I'm all for removing a sheriff or an elected official if there's malfeasance or misfeasance. That is the only way that you can remove a sheriff, okay? Now I'm going somewhere with that because I really believe that you don't have this information, you don't have this transparency, and this is why you're in the dark. So I speak in your defense as well, okay? As the undersheriff, I have no regrets being the undersheriff because we have been able to work together and turn the sheriff's department around. In regards to the audit, there was about 43 violations. 10 of those were ours, and they were very minor. We have corrected those. I see that audit as us being vindicated, DASO, to include Sheriff Kim Stewart. And we are offering our assistance to continue to move forward and work together and rectify these matters. It's not going to be overnight. But I have a concern. I have filed complaints through the Code of Conduct, and they have rested on deaf ears. I have addressed through correspondences with my recommendations as to how to move forward and rectify these matters, and they have rested on deaf ears. I have made, and the sheriff has made, I'm going to speak for me, the sheriff has also made, though, attempts to work together to no avail. Okay. The Code of Conduct was of a severe violation. 3 paralegals were deprived their right to a fair hearing under the Code of Conduct during the time that I was the compliance officer. There was a Open Meetings Act, in my opinion, violation to include an abuse of power because their accused was actually, those allegations were sustained by an outside investigator, an attorney by the name of Deborah Moulton. But yet, there was a meeting without a quorum between a commissioner, our county manager, and a former county contract attorney, and prepared and served us with an order, emergency order to vacate. In my opinion, and according to the Open Meetings Act, you cannot do that without a quorum. And that was done illegally, depriving the 3 paralegals who had been discriminated, harassed, intimidated, and threatened. And that discrimination and intimidation tactics continues today, not just with the paralegals, not just with DASO, but with many other employees within the sheriff's department, within the county. It's an injustice, Board of Commissioners, and I really want to help in rectifying this. I also submitted another complaint, again, rested in deaf ears, on deaf ears. We have an administrative captain who has been on administrative leave for approximately 9 months. 9 months. That investigation, Board of Commissioners, has been compromised by your county attorney. The role of an attorney, in this case, a county attorney, in regards to investigations which the auditors covered specifically on improprieties, is only to determine whether or not that investigation is legally sufficient. Does not give the authority to the county attorney to go on a fishing expedition and try to find other possible violations, alleged violations 3, 4, 5 years ago. You just cannot do that. The county attorney's job is not to direct Board of Blue investigators to investigate outside the scope of that particular investigation and encourage Board of Blue investigators to file a complaint with the Attorney General's office against the sheriff and myself for, guess what? Malfeasance and misfeasance. There's been malicious intent against the Sheriff's Department. Enough is enough, okay? We have the support of DASO, our employees, and we also have the support of the county employees. Now, I'm really disturbed about this one particular situation here, speaking of the paralegals. This is not a vengeance here. I really want to work together ever since I was the compliance officer in moving forward to more professional, business-oriented administration. To no avail, though. So the audit report or investigators surface. We had a paralegal who was working specifically with me covertly in obtaining information. And I'm not going to say any names here. I'm trying to respect the confidentiality as well. Paralegal also worked closely, covertly with state auditors, and they guaranteed that she would not be retaliated against because it was her duty, as all other county employees, to cooperate. And per policy, you cannot be retaliated against if you cooperate with an investigation, or in this case, the audit. This particular paralegal was interviewed by the auditors for 5.5 hours, okay? Goes on vacation and contacted me and the auditors, feared retaliation and feared losing her job. Upon return from vacation, she was placed on administrative leave, and I'm going somewhere with this. She was, and again, a lot of this information you probably don't know, otherwise you would have taken care of this, okay? She's placed on administrative leave despite being guaranteed by the state auditors, by me, that she could not be retaliated against. And there was a strategy behind that. She was on administrative leave for 2 months, prohibiting her to continue working with me and the state auditors. But we still had the information. It's nothing against the county. It's just the system is broken and we need to correct it. We need to work together. But the injustice continues over and over and over. And I'm not convinced, Board of Commissioners, Mr. Chair, that we will move forward and be victorious unless the cancer is addressed, okay? Subsequently, back to the paralegal, that investigation was unsustained, unfounded, and she was reinstated after the auditors completed their report or their investigation. The writing's on the wall. I could go on and on and on and on about this. So, as a result of the audit report and talking to some of you, I was really excited about new beginnings. Let's acknowledge our faults and the system, whether you agree or don't agree, it's broken. And let's start working together. On May 29th, I filed a complaint against a staff member from the legal department, a serious complaint, serious allegations, egregious alleged misconduct in regards to investigations, in regards to going outside of the scope of investigations, maliciously coming after the sheriff over and over, and that complaint was filed with the county manager. I requested that it be considered that she be placed on administrative leave, as my captain has been placed on administrative leave, as the paralegal has been placed on administrative leave, as others have been placed on administrative leave. And I am appalled to learn that that employee was not placed on administrative leave, knowing that investigations are being compromised and manipulated, and depending on who the accused is, determines the outcome of an investigation and disciplinary action, which is illegal. So having said that, enough is enough, and I mean no disrespect. But again, you probably didn't have this info. You probably did not, because I'm convinced that you would have addressed it and taken care of this. I am not convinced that we can move forward if the cancer exists. And I ask this of you as the Board of County Commissioner. You owe it to your constituents, okay, that you consider. I see that on the agenda, we have a resolution to address the audit violations and stuff. I'm not convinced. That resolution should be specific, and we should focus on the core of the issues and not just look at the surface of things. Number two, I see that you have a closed session to discuss or review the evaluation of job performance of our county manager. I'm not convinced, and I mean no disrespect, but I'm going to call or ask that you consider these are potential risk factors here. And rest assured, we're going to get sued. We are. And in order to start moving forward, we have to remove the cancer. So I call for the termination of Scott Andrews and attorney Miss Neal, Carrie Neal, effective immediately on account of injustices, improprieties, and continued discrimination, favoritism, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Otherwise, we won't be able to move forward. I stand for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.